Let's delve into what transpired to start with at the MCG today. More than 84,000 in at the MCG. They saw Collingwood win by 11 points in a second half that was quite thrilling, with 6 lead changes along the way. It was captivating, as it always is, the silence in this particular moment, all bar for one crying baby.
That added to it, Gerard. It sort of added to it.
And there was a grandeur heading toward that opening siren and a roar that we've been denied at the MCG for a bit too long. Collingwood were sharpest out of the blocks. They led throughout the first half. Myercheck with a good show of strength. Essendon were able to peg back to make sure that that lead never got beyond the 17 points that it touched at various stages. Stringer was instrumental. Ginnivan's ended up being the story of the game, and we'll work our way through him. This is going to be a signature moment.
Yep. Jason Ackermanis written all over him.
Yep.
It really was. Yeah, even kicking that first goal, Gerard, he led when no one else was leading, and he kicked around the corner. The pressure on that 19-year-old in his 10th AFL game to deliver that first goal says a lot about his character. As in the second quarter, it was a strange first half. Parrish has 30, doesn't get tagged. Should he be tagged? Is he threatening enough to be tagged? There was turnovers, there was mistakes. Essendon kept on kicking behinds, and half time I thought to myself, Gerard, what have we got here?
And then Essendon, they took a measure of control in that third.
Oh, absolutely.
And Craig McRae moved down from the box to the bench, and it was it changed hands 4 times during this term. That Guelphy goal from long range, in fact, the 2 he kicked, that was the first time Essendon had hit the front. And then Ginnivan answers. So, you know, the bleached hair is on full display with its peroxide at the ready. How about the... I mean, he properly flushed that. Every celebration was different that he presented. And then into the last quarter. So Essendon kicked the first goal to hit the front.
Love the last quarter. Yeah, love the last quarter. It's just so many... It's always a team performance, but there's some really magical moments and clutch goals. Whereas we had a lot of mistakes in the first half, Gerard, I thought there was a lot of clutch goals, but, you know, there was a couple... I mean, that one... Right up until about the 20-minute mark, it was a seesaw. What can happen here? What can happen here?
Cameron's goal.
Oh, that was mighty. And he was so nonchalant when he look at him. Brodie Grundy's last 3 minutes were significant.
Yes.
The tackle, which led to that goal to Taylor Adams, and when he got the 50, I mean, I don't know if we're going to talk about that tonight, but God, one step off the mark is 50 metres in an Anzac Day game like this. You've got to be kidding. It's too much. But when he kicked the goal, he got to 50, he kicked the goal, grabbed the jumper, Gerard, and he was bellowing. I mean, so much to him.
Yep.
Because he's been... Oh, look at that. Look at that. They ran to him. When you've got a ruckman like that, they are such a presence in your team. And it was fantastic for Brodie Grundy, but the story was Jack Ginnivan, Gerard.
It was. So he is... through some of his actions and through some of the commentary, he's an instantly polarising figure within the football world, dearly beloved by his own.
Oh, I love him.
So he's a pantomime villain in the richest traditions of sport. But you have to have something solid behind that. You have to be a footballer of substance to carry it.
Of course you have to be.
And he kicked 5 goals in an Anzac Day game. So think about, it was 20 years ago that Mark McGough won the medal as a teenager, and he was the ultimate nondescript.
Yeah.
He was a school kid
who
came to Anzac Day, wins the medal on a wet day, and that's the biggest moment of his career. This kid is an absolute character. He's a lightning rod within the game inside 10 games.
We need more players like Jack Ginnivan, Gerard. We do. We can't allow our game to... We spoke about it last week. We don't want to strip character and personality from the game. We don't. So when we have a young fellow like this who's got the courage to be himself, OK, don't smash him. But when he can actually walk the walk and talk the talk, bravo,
so
young man.
Yeah, the main element was that he hadn't done enough within the game...
What, to film himself?
...to take on the position that he was taking on. He has now. He has now.
He probably always thought he was.
5 goals and a medal.
Yeah.
He's got a medal already.
Yeah, it's fantastic. He was... Was he the difference? Jack Myercheck played really well, and Darcy Parish had another bundle amount of ball, but he was... borrow a word from you. He was tantalising today. When the ball was going in, you're looking to see where Jack Ginnivan is. And when you're watching footy, That is the best feeling when especially in the second half, the ball's going, you're looking, and you go, bang, where is he? That gets you going.
Yeah.
And when he marks it, I imagine being a commentator, TV and radio, it's like, the box explodes. He's got presence, he's got a bit of pomp, he's got power, and good luck to him.
Yeah, and if it's about a journey of paying your dues, he made a big payment on his future today. So 3-3, Collingwood put an end to 3 losing games, of which only one is a misstep. They had Geelong on the ropes, couldn't close them out, and they were there with the Lions all game a week ago. So their form is solid. They're
8th spot, 3-3.
They're well 3-3, and we sort of fancy they'll probably be on the right side of the ledger, I reckon. I reckon they're a 12-10 team.
But they
maybe they're an 11-11 team.
Who knows? I don't know what they're going to be. And right now, I'm not being dismissive of your comment, but I'm not really caring what they're going to be. I'm actually just caring, and I reckon Collingwood fans will agree. What are they going to be this year? After Buckley goes, what are they going to be? So we see it and go, wow. Then all the experts, the analysts go, no, they're too blitz. They're too blitz. They run out of puff. So what today was, it wasn't a total blitz game of footy. It was really gritty, and at the end, when it was seesawing, you had to stand up. You had to keep fighting. You're tired, and they did it. So there's no blitz today. Today was just a good, determined 4-quarter game of football where they had control, lost it and got it back and sort of surged away at the end.
So there's good elements to talk to the coach about, not the least of which is when Scott Pendlebury goes into the middle at the start of the last quarter. And how he probably is resisting, but there comes a moment we have to win the game, and he stops the rot in the middle.
Do you reckon that's a really good question? Do you resist, or you say someone says, move him in?
Yeah,
we've got to do something.
Resisted. I think the start of the third quarter would have been a moment, but then the game is on the line at the start of the last quarter.
Did you think?
And you put your champion in, and he sorts it out, with 3 of the first 4 clearances.
Oh, I know, he was majestic, as he always is. Did you think? Were you surprised that they didn't tag Parrish in the first half?
No, I wasn't.
This is a great football discussion, this.
How much was Parrish truly hurting him? And maybe late in the second quarter, the pendulum just moved to the point of we're getting hurt, and I think Lipinski went to him as a cooler at the start of the third quarter, it seemed.
He got a lot of clearances. He got a lot of clearance, and he had 44 touches and 3 inside 50s. 3. OK, so when you're assessing who's hurting us and who's not, when I say us, not Eston, us as in your coach in Collingwood, is he hurting us? So he's getting a lot of pill, but we're in front here. You're not giving up. I'm not trying to slag him off at all. He's a good player.
Absolutely,
he's a really good player. But he's not as damaging as other gun midfielders.
They had to stop losing the centre clearances, and that's what Pendlebury did for them at the start of the last. What of Essendon? So 1-5. You heard the Ben Rutten press conference, which we played at the end
Didn't
of
hear it. What did he say?
So he's taking the positive from it, thinks they took a step forward, liked the way that they dealt with their shortcomings during the week.
Yeah, I agree with that.
On the field, they did it.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, but they're 1-5.
Yeah. No. Footy remains a win-loss industry, Gerard. Absolutely. But the performance last week, and I was lucky enough to be in the club luncheon today, and Paul Brasher spoke how the team was embarrassed last week, and talking to him when he was off stage, how big a game this was for Essendon today after last week, because all games are reputational, but Anzac Day, there's something that extra that the whole spirit of the day lends itself to words that are really important in football.
You have to honour the day with a committed performance.
Yeah, absolutely must. And I thought they honoured the day. I thought they weren't let down by lack of effort. They were let down by lack of skill, lack of bad decisions, kicking for goal, etc., etc. So their effort was pretty sound. So I would imagine he is looking at those positives tonight.